Anthony Joshua's own UK network doesn't believe he is the #1 heavyweight in the world right now. Wow. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It does help the channel, and I appreciate it. Conor McGregor is getting ready to fight on ESPN pay-per-view, ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Use my link to order that. It's going to be a good fight. Conor McGregor is supposed to be, according to his trainer, obviously it's his team, he's supposedly looking good right now. And we haven't seen him since his loss to Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, in boxing news, Adam Smith, the man in charge with Sky Sports, he believes that Joshua isn't the #1 heavyweight. I don't know that this has always been the case, but link in the description, he did an interview, and he says there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of money between Wilder and Fury. And there's a lot of people talking about, Wilder, Joshua, and Fury, presumably the big three. Who will be the last man standing? No one can predict at the moment. Is Anthony Joshua #1 in the world? Not in my opinion. I thought Fury beat Wilder, so you got to go with Tyson Fury, but Deontay Wilder has come back this year with 2 stunning knockouts. You can argue that he's #1 in the world. It's always going to be subjective and a big debate. Until we get a round robin and they all fight each other, we're never going to find out the answer, are we? My guess is anyone on any given night can win it. And that's what we want to see. We want to see great fights, and we want to see the heavyweight division to be unified. We want to know who is the last man standing, but AJ has had a topsy-turvy year. He's come back on top, and that's great for boxing. Andy Ruiz will come back. I'd love to see him in with Dillian White. I think that would be a great fight, but Dillian deserves a world title shot. So there's a lot happening. Let's look at a young blood, and the young blood coming in, the Dubois, the Joe Joyces. There's so much out there. It's great. There's a lot of respect between Joshua Fury and Wilder. There's a lot of respect. I know Deontay really well, and I haven't spent as much time with Tyson Fury. I spent a lot of time with Ben Davison for the Wilder fight, and I know Tyson really respects Joshua, and Joshua really respects Fury, and I know that Fury respects Wilder. There's no animosity between the big 3 top heavyweights in the division. The 3 respect each other, and they know that they're easily the best of the bunch. So there you have it. Adam Smith of Sky Sports doesn't even feel his own network home fighter, Anthony Joshua, is #1 in the heavyweight division. He says basically it's between Wilder and Fury. Listen, I don't know why the UK and the UK media, they like to tiptoe, and it's almost like shows some type of patriotism towards countrymen and stuff like that. I don't know why everyone keeps going on about Tyson Fury really won. I mean, you can the fact of the matter is the judges ruled it was a draw, and that's it. So how are you going to put Tyson Fury at #1 when he didn't win the belt? You get what I'm saying? It's a lot of bias and opinion bias going into some of these opinions, because for the people, listen, boxing is a 12-round championship rounds are scored based on the rule set, what they're supposed to be looking for. People are going because they're going off of the fact that Deontay Wilder was missing and Tyson Fury was making a miss. Shout out to Tyson Fury for that. However, you got to look at it like this. This is a score. All you have to do is score. So it's possible that somebody can, in essence, win more rounds, like round by round, win more round, but you can easily double up by getting 10-8 rounds, which is what Wilder did. And those first 4 rounds were very subjective, where there wasn't so much action. I feel like Tyson Fury had to work himself. He knew Wilder was dangerous. He had 2 tune-ups coming off a 3-year layoff. So he played it cautious, and he was feinting and trying to get into a rhythm. So he didn't really even do any, especially in the first 3 rounds. He did a lot of feinting and posturing and stuff like that. He wasn't really doing anything. So I have no idea how people, allegedly gave Fury like the first 7 rounds and stuff. You guys have to really go back and watch that fight, And like I said, Wilder lost said round, this round, right? By getting outboxed. He wasn't getting knocked down. So it becomes an easy round to score. Tyson Fury was outboxing him in spots. However, when you have the power that Wilder has, it's an equalizer, and it nullifies and neutralizes the threat like it did. 2 knockdowns, it's almost the equivalent of, because it's a points-based system, it's almost the equivalent of winning 4 rounds because you have 2 10-8 rounds. Because if Wilder just, let's say, didn't have power and he was outboxing Tyson Fury, it would be a 10-9 round. But since you scored a knockdown, you get a 10-8 round. So he was able to catch up scorecard-wise based on that. So I don't understand and that's the only reason Tyson Fury keeps saying he won 10 rounds to 2. Because if you give him any less than that, then that's where it starts to get shaky. If you're like, oh, I won at least 8 rounds, because you have to score it. If we're scoring and someone scored 2 knockdowns, just do the math. Then a draw is definitely feasible, and or Wilder winning, depending on how many of those early rounds you gave Wilder, period. So I don't know why people keep playing this game. And, it really doesn't matter, because in February 22nd, they're about to fight again, and we're going to see. And I think there's a lot of people in the UK who fear that Tyson Fury is going to get knocked out and lose. And they're still saying Tyson Fury is the #1 heavyweight. So, I can't wait for February 22nd just to see what happens. So we finally have closure. If Tyson Fury wins, I'll give him his props. I'm picking Wilder. I think Wilder will correct some things. I think Wilder has more things he can correct and fine tune. His power's not going anywhere. He doesn't have to correct that. Tyson Fury keeps talking about Deontay Wilder, I'll knock your spark out. I think another thing Wilder did was he waited for Tyson Fury. It was a big moment, pay-per-view. He wanted to look good. So he was kind of waiting, and Tyson Fury's pretty crafty. He moves well for a big man. And I think Wilder shouldn't wait so much. He should just keep punches out there and put different steam on the punches, set Tyson Fury up, and try to catch him with something. Go to the body like Otto Violen did. He started doing that in the first fight, but he kind of got away from it. He did it in the first couple rounds, which is another reason why I gave Wilder some of those early rounds. But anyway, Adam Smith, needless to say, he doesn't think that Joshua is the #1 person, which is what I told you. Despite winning and beating Andy Ruiz, yes, he did it, got the belts back, but he won the belts, but he didn't win people's hearts. Anthony Joshua, he had a very mild safety first, do the bare bones minimum to stay out of harm's way type of approach. This wasn't masterclass, superb boxing. He is a guy who's taller with the longer reach, and he has power, and he played keep away. That's it. So that, plus the fact that Andy Ruiz did himself a horrible, disgraceful disservice by showing up in poor shape, it equated to a Joshua win. But in my opinion, not everyone's going to be like Ruiz. Not everyone's going to come, turn up out of shape, and not take it serious. So I think Joshua, his fights from here on out are definitely going to get harder, because as far as I'm concerned, the June 1st fight with Ruiz, the first fight, and even the performance in the second fight with Ruiz, those 2 Ruiz fights have forever changed the perception of Joshua. That's how I see it. The first fight was abysmal, an embarrassing night, worst pro night, etc. And it lets you know. Now, Andy Ruiz didn't put himself in a position to really win, which is not Joshua's fault. However, looking forward, since Joshua got past him, I still feel like he's still susceptible to the same things. The reason it wasn't brought out is because Andy Ruiz, was living the life and the party life or whatever he was doing, thinking that coming in 15 pounds with no game plan was the ticket. But Kubrat Pulev, Dillian White, Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois, obviously Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. These are completely different fights. If you're in there with the able-bodied person who's in shape, who has power, I still have to see how Joshua reacts to I still think he has the front runner mentality where when he's winning and he's the front runner, everything's peachy, everything's hunky-dory. But when he gets hurt and stung and someone keeps applying pressure, or he felt the type of power he hasn't really felt, I think it's going to be bad news. But nonetheless, new media, we continue to lead the charge, and I told you, we control the narrative. Adam Smith of Sky Sport, all the people in the UK that come to my channel and say, oh, you're hating on Joshua, it was masterclass and all that. Well, then after getting his belts back and retrieving those from Andy Ruiz in the second fight, how come Adam Smith, and this is not the first time, I was actually going to make a video because he already said this before, and I didn't get around to making it. So he's on more than one occasion in multiple interviews, he has stated that he doesn't believe Joshua is currently the #1. So I think Sky Sports, Eddie Hearns, they're happy that Joshua got the belts back, because 2 losses in a row, 2 L's like Cool J, that would have been bad news for Joshua. And I think ultimately they're just happy to get the belts back, and they're going to try to hide Joshua out. I don't see Joshua and his team being in a real rush like they're saying to fight the winner of Wilder versus Fury. I don't think they would be willing to pay step-aside money. They'd rather get the experience in fighting Kubrat Pulev or fighting Usyk, who just moved up in the division. Because from Usyk's first fight, that's going to be less of a threat than a guy like Wilder in terms of sheer power, which people question Joshua's durability against the formidable punchers. So it's unfortunate. Adam Smith is saying that they want to unify and this and that, but I don't believe it. And I think the evidence will be shown when you see who Joshua fights next and how he's conveniently booked up with mandatories, even though a unification with Wilder, whoever has that green strap, Fury Wilder, would trump that, and it would be bigger for boxing, bigger fights. Fans would want that more, but I don't think we'll see it. Let me know what you guys think. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.